Hi, welcome to PN Recapped Mystery. Today we explain the movie called Mad Max, Fury Road. Beware of spoilers, watch out and take care, and I hope you enjoy the video. In the beginning, Max Rokitansky clarifies in a voiceover that he was once a cop and street warrior and is currently traveling across dystopian Australia, running from tormenting contemplations of his dead spouse and child and others he's neglected to save. As he remains on an edge glancing around, a two-headed reptile creeps close to Max and he tramples it prior to eating it. He drives off and is immediately sought after by a gathering of foragers called the War Boys, all pale and shrouded in rankles because of radiation affliction. They pursue Max through the desert and power him to crash before they catch him. The War Boys take Max to their sanctuary in the Citadel, an arrangement of caverns in an extremely tall plateau. They shave his head and face. They tattoo his back with a notification saying he is a universal blood giver type O negative, proposing to involve him as a blood supply. They cover the lower part of his face with a harpoon-formed iron gag and almost brand him with a picture of a skull immersed in fire, yet he breaks free and runs from the War Boys. The pursuit through the caverns shows that the Citadel is broad and has an abundant water supply just as nurseries. As he runs, Max keeps on seeing pictures of the dead before he comes to a leave high over the ground. He leaps out and locks onto a swinging snare, yet he continues to swing back toward the War Boys and they figure out how to pull him back into the passage. In the Citadel, there is an enormous local area of survivors lorded over by the head of the War Boys, Immortan Joe. Joe wears an odd facial covering made of pony teeth set in an enormous pair of jaws, with air hoses joined to a cries framework on his back to assist him with breathing because his lungs are harmed. As he tends to a group on the ground underneath the Citadel, he supplies individuals with some water, making everybody go off the deep end and battle for it once Joe turns it down following a couple of moments. He cautions individuals not to become dependent on water so they don't go distraught over its non-appearance. Joe then, at that point, sends his administrator Imperator Furiosa out in a tremendous conflict apparatus to gather fuel from Gastown, with an escort of War Boys and more modest vehicles. Furiosa has a metal prosthesis instead of her lower left arm and hand. On the road, Furiosa redirects from the way to Gastown and heads east. Joe is made aware of the change and races to the locked chambers where he keeps his 5 spouses. They're completely gone, and composing on the dividers says our kids won't be warlords and who killed the world? An elderly person lets Joe know that he can't claim a human. Furiosa is removing the ladies from Joe, provoking him to revitalize the War Boys and pursue her. All the War Boys are anxious to join the pursuit, yet one called Nux is extremely powerless that he wants a blood donation center, which means Max comes for the ride, fastened to Nux and associated with the driver through a focal line bonding tube. The War Boys accept that Immortan Joe can convey them to the doors of Valhalla, so Nux will chance to mise in support of his chief. The War Boys ride after Furiosa's conflict rig, which is assaulted by another rummaging clan, the Buzzards. Nux slashes Max to the hood of his vehicle like the non-entity on a ship and enthusiastically pursues Furiosa close by the others. They endeavor to draw near to the apparatus, yet Furiosa shakes the greater part of them off, the War Boys supporting the fight with unstable tipped lances. Nux draws near to the apparatus as Max endeavors to break free. Furiosa heads toward a gigantic approaching dust storm. Nux keeps on pursuing her, even as they head into deceptive sand twisters. A couple of War Boys are killed in the tempest, while Nux plots a kamikaze run by spilling his fuel inside his vehicle. He intends to set it burning with a flare when Max can overwhelm and stop him. The two accident in the tempest. Max stirs to end up still tied to an oblivious Nux and as yet wearing his gag. He gets a shotgun and attempts to fire off Nux's wrist, however the weapon fizzles. He recognizes Furiosa's apparatus and strolls there, finding 5 lovely ladies, the Splendid and Harad, Toast the Knowing, Capable, Cheeto the Fragile, and the Dag. They cleaning themselves with a hose and eliminating their celibacy belts with bolt cutters. Splendid is 9 months pregnant with Joe's child, and Dag is additionally conveying his child. Max focuses the shotgun at the ladies and requests the hose. He drinks, then, at that point, advises them to utilize the cutters to remove his chain. Dag attempts to yet can't break it. Furiosa finds somewhere out there that Joe has accumulated fortifications from different towns that supply gas and ammo to the Citadel. The moving toward powers are driven by the People Eater and the Bullet Farmer. Max and Furiosa battle as he attempts to cut the chain that attaches him to Nux. Nux awakens and assists Max with battling Furiosa, who is helped by different ladies. Nux cuts the chain and Max attempts to take the apparatus for himself. Notwithstanding, it slows down on the grounds that Furiosa introduced an off button and just she knows how to make a big difference for it. Max lets her back on the apparatus, however he would rather not take the remainder of the ladies. Furiosa demands that they go along, as she is directing them to an area she calls the Green Place. At the point when Furiosa clarifies that Joe's appreciation toward Max will most likely be a lethargic, difficult passing, Max surrenders, and as they head out in the conflict rig, Nux sneaks ready. During this leg of the pursuit, Max can eliminate his facial covering with a document given to him by Furiosa. Furiosa drives the apparatus into a gully where she has a plan with a gathering of biker scoundrels. They'll close the pass behind her with a stone slide to thwart her followers in return for 3,000 gallons of fuel, which she's towing in a trailer unit. She helps Max the grouping of changes to toss to overcome the off button, then, at that point, asks his name. He would rather not tell her, so she says, "When I shout fool, drive out of here quick." They spot Joe and his powers shutting in. Furiosa gets out and yells to the bikers that she's brought the 3,000 gallons of fuel, as concurred, and she'll disengage the unit. One of the bikers grumbles that she said there would be a couple of followers, yet there are 3 huge gatherings. Furiosa, evading to put the apparatus among herself and the bikers, shouts fool, and makes do, between bullets, to move back on as Max drives the apparatus away. However, she never segregated the fuel trailer. The bikers explode the bridge, briefly ending Joe's interest. As they race away, Furiosa and Max fend off the biker outlaws. Immortan Joe, in his huge wheeled, rough-terrain vehicle, can move over the rockfall. One more pursuit follows through the desert. The war boys continue to attempt to surpass the apparatus while Joe makes up for lost time. He endeavors to take shots at the apparatus until Splendid strides out as a human safeguard, and Joe can't do a thing without harming his possible child. Nux endeavors to help Joe, who showers chrome paint on Nux's mouth with the guarantee of carrying him to the doors of Valhalla, assuming Nux succeeds. Very quickly, Nux loses his weapon before Joe, who keeps driving with frustration. Stunny takes a stab at moving back to the front of the apparatus, yet she tumbles off and is new onward. The others cry for Splendid. Behind them, Joe shouts in rage while holding Splendid's body. Nux slips once more into the apparatus with the guarantee of assisting the ladies with dodging Joe. He lies on the floor, troubled that he has bombed Joe once more and has lost his shot at enlisting in his own military. Competent control center him. At the front, Furiosa tells Max of the Green Place and how she was taken from it as a kid. As they keep driving, as the night progressed, the apparatus becomes trapped in a huge field of mud. The Bullet Farmer isn't a long ways behind them. Max takes shots at him yet misses, and afterward Furiosa has a spotless chance, taking out the Bullet Farmer's lights and blinding him. Nux recommends they append the truck's winch link to a close-by tree and pull the apparatus forward. In the meantime, Joe's lieutenant, the organic mechanic, takes Splendid's body, as she is close absurdly, and he removes the child of her mid-region. The child is dead as well, however he lets Joe know that it was a kid. Joe tells his grown-up child Rictus that he had a sibling. Rictus shouts gladly. The ladies keep attempting to push the apparatus out of the mud while Max goes out to confront the Bullet Farmer himself. A couple of splendid glimmers of blasts are found in the far-off mist and he returns in a matter of seconds with the Bullet Farmer's blood all over, alongside a decent inventory of weapons and ammunition. Toward the beginning of the day, the apparatus comes up to a pinnacle where an exposed lady, the Valkyrie, is shouting for help. Max believes it's a snare, yet Furiosa ventures out and tells the Valkyrie her mom's name and her association with this group. The Valkyrie descends the pinnacle and puts on a rope. More seasoned ladies, the Vuvolini, Rise, the oldest, keeper of the seeds, perceives Furiosa. Furiosa lets them know that she is taking the ladies from the Citadel to the Green Place. However, Keeper of the Seeds illuminates her that the sloppy bog they went through was the Green Place, and has since a long time ago become dreadful. Furiosa strolls into the sand and grovels, shouting hopelessly. The Vuvolini consent to help the ladies from the Citadel ride across the salt pads looking for a home. Max, actually spooky by the pictures of his better half and youngster, chooses to assist the ladies with going above and beyond. Joe's plant life and water supply are as of now unguarded. They likewise plan to trap Joe and his military in the ravines. The gathering rides back toward the Citadel. Joe sees them with his telescope, realizing without a doubt what their plan is. He assembles his military and gives pursuit. The Vuvolini assist battle with support. The Valkyrie takes shots at the war boys while safeguarding one of her own until she is run over. Max and Furiosa kill a portion of the war boys, while Max gets Joe to kill the people leader by involving him as a human safeguard. Manager of the Seeds is likewise killed when one of the war boys cuts her neck. Toast is caught by Joe and held prisoner. Furiosa is wounded on Joe's vehicle and becomes more fragile as Joe and Rictus gain energy. Toast diverts Joe sufficiently long to offer Furiosa a chance to snare Joe's veil onto the wheels of his vehicle. She snarls, "Recall me?" to him as the wheels rip the veil and some portion of Joe's go head-to-head, killing him. The apparatus then, at that point, makes a beeline for the ravine, with Rictus actually attempting to stop them. The ladies get off securely while Nux bids farewell to Capable and steers against the ravine, forfeiting himself to kill Rictus and break down the bridge to stop Joe's military. Returning to the Citadel, Furiosa's lungs almost break down. Max pokes a little hole in her side to give her air. She begins to black out, and Max gives her his very own bonding blood. He at last tells her his name as she shuts her eyes. The gathering shows up at the Citadel. Max gives individuals Joe's mouthless cadaver, making everybody cheer. They rip Joe's carcass separated and feed off him. The water supply is brought out, giving individuals as much water as they need. Furiosa rises and evidently turns into the new pioneer. She and Max recognize each other with deference again before he gets away into the group to proceed down his own way. To watch more explanations of these kinds of movies, click on the videos on your screen, and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. Kindly like the video and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. Thanks for watching.